The story begins on October. Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson were returning to their rooms in Baker Street after a long walk. It was quite late in the evening, and there was a carriage outside the house. A gentleman was waiting for them in their sitting room. Good evening, sir. Please sit down. What can I do to help you? My name is Percy Trevelyan, and I live at 403 Brook Street. You have written a book on catalepsy, haven't you? Well, that's right, yes. I'm a doctor. My name is John Watson. Have a seat, please. It's a pleasure. I thought that was completely forgotten. I'm a fan of yours. Thank you very much. Well, some very strange things have been happening at the house of Brook Street, and they have reached such a point that I had to come and ask for your help. Well, let's see. Please give me a complete account of the things. I am a Lord University man, and I work at King's College Hospital. I wrote my book on catalepsy. One day, a stranger came to see me, one day in my room. His name was Blessington. I want to ask you some questions. Why are you not working as a private specialist? Tell me. Huh? I have few £1,000 that I am not using. I will rent you a house in Brook Street. What do you think? But why? Because I want my money to grow. I just want you to do your job. I will buy the furniture for your house. I will pay the rent and pay all your costs each week. It is easy. You can keep a quarter of money you earn. You will give me the other 3/4. Decide now. Few weeks later, I moved into the house in Brook Street. It was a wonderful place, and it has everything I would need.
Waiting room for your patients? Your consulting room?
I can't believe it, Mr. Blessington.
He came to live with me because he said that his heart was weak and he needed to live near a doctor. He came into my consulting room to find out how much money I had earned and gave me back exactly a quarter of it. The rest of the money he kept in the strong box in his bathroom. A few weeks ago, Mr. Blessington came down to speak to me. He mentioned a recent London robbery. He seemed to be surprisingly worried and anxious, and he wanted to get stronger locks, put on doors, and...
Dr. Trevelyan!
Self, sir.
Calm myself! But my dear sir, have you not heard of the burglary?
Suddenly, the Brook Street house was transformed by a fortress, and Mr. Blessington started to act so rude. Get away from here! I want to be alone! Get away! 2 days ago, I received a letter. There is no address or date on it. It was about a Russian lord that has been suffering catalepsy. Next day, it means yesterday, he comes up with his song. He was a tall man. He looked pale and very old. He also seemed sick. Good afternoon, sir. What can I do for you? Forgive me for coming in with my father, doctor. He left into the waiting room. And then I went out with the old man to the consulting room. I was so excited, and I started to ask to the Lord some questions about his life and his illness.
Any pain at all?
No.
Good.
Suddenly, he stopped answering my questions. I saw he was pale and his eyes were empty. He was in a state of catalepsy, of course. First, I took notes of his condition. Then, I decided to treat him with a medicine. Unfortunately, it took me 5 minutes to find the bottle and prepare the drink. Then, when I went back into my consulting room, it was a surprise. Mr. Holmes, the old man, was not there. I ran into the waiting room, but it was empty too.
Fenton, the two gentlemen you showed in less than 15 minutes ago, did you see them leave?
Leave? No, sir.
Are you sure?
I'm positive, sir.
Doctor! 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 Someone has been in my room!
No one has been in your room,
A
sir.
lie! You're lying to me!
I assure you I am not.
When I went up with him, he pointed to several footprints of the floor, and they were obviously larger than Mr. Blessington's. He was so angry. Then
Is that you, Doctor?
Yes, of course it is me.
The other two gentlemen, are they what they pretend to be?
They are Mr. Sherlock Holmes and his friend Dr. Watson.
who are these two strangers and why are your enemies? I don't know what you're talking about. Good night, Dr. Trevelyan. Won't you help me? No, if you don't tell the truth. Then Holmes went out and left Blessington's house.
Holmes?
I do not understand it at all, Holmes. But, well, these two men intended to harm Blessington. It is easy to see, Watson. Blessington is frightened for his life.
Mr. Blessington, your breakfast tea.
Get dressed quickly. There's a cab waiting for us.
Oh, this is terrible. Blessington has killed himself. He hanged himself during the night. There was a police officer beside the corpse. Good morning, Inspector. Have you found anything unusual in the room? Well, he seemed to have smoked a lot during the night. We have found these 4 cigarettes. There, beside the fireplace. Here you have the evidence, Mr. Holmes. What can you conclude about this? Where is the cigar case? Cigar case? Give it to me, please. Yeah, here it is, Mr. Holmes. This is a Cuban cigar. 2 were cut by a knife, and the other 2 were bitten. Let me think about this. Mr. Blessington did not kill himself. He was murdered. What? The killers were helped by one of Blessington's own servants. He led the murderers into the house. First, as you can see here, the door was forced by a wire. You can see? Then, they tried to shoot Blessington. One person came here and shut his mouth. The other guy robbed him, and it was over. Finally, the old man hanging him. Haven't you forgotten this? Watson, this is what I was looking for. Here, you see? Blessington, or Sutton, his real name.
Alright, let's be gone.
There were 4 robbers. The thieves got away with £7,000. This guy, Blessington, decided to help the police.
That's him?
As a result,
Are you
all
positive?
the thieves were arrested.
Oh, yes.
But the bad guy
That's him.
promised himself that when he came out of jail, he will punish Blessington as revenge.
Don't worry, Mr. Sutton. It's a hanging job now.
I didn't know you were interested in my writing.
I am always interested in your choice of titles.
Well, I thought I'd call it the Brook Street Mystery. No?
Well, I myself would prefer The Resident Patient. But please do not let me influence you. Brook Street Mystery. No doubt.